We're living in a world right now where what's real and true and powerful often isn't seen, heard, or felt. Spirituality has become spiritual performance, a performance. Acting as if. You've heard of this? Act as if. Fake it to make it. And so the truth has become so much harder for people to hear or to recognize. Because often those who are heard the most are the ones who are yelling the most, or the ones who have gotten very good at pretending long enough that they begin to believe it themselves. But what's real and true has nothing to do with belief. You see, because what is real and true would exist whether you believe in it or not. It doesn't need your beliefs. It doesn't even need your attention. It will go on breathing and living, whether you see it or not. I make this video to speak something clearly. That many of the people who have the stage don't know what they're talking about. And millions of people are listening to them and following in line with ideas of pretending and faking and performing. But I want to ask you something. Do you think that if you spend your entire life performing, that you will experience a spiritual exhaustion, a spiritual death? Because to have to perform every single moment, to convince yourself and everyone else around you that you have something, that you're worth listening to, that you're worth buying, you're worth believing in. Do you understand that if you even achieve that sort of stage for yourself, that what you will really have built is not a stage, but a prison, and you will have missed the truth? That there's something beyond performance. There's something to you, literally you that I'm speaking to right here today. I'm talking to you. There's something beyond performance. It's not an idea. It's not a belief. It's not a story. It's not a concept. It's not a technique. It's not an idea. It's not any of these things. It's what is here without all of that noise. If it weren't for your ideas and beliefs and all the stories that you have and you carry about who you are and what's real, what would be left? What would be here if you let all of that go? What would be here if you stopped striving or reaching to be anything other than what you are right now, right here in this moment? And what if you listened long enough that you were able to recognize the sound of your own mind weaving stories to make sense of this moment, to make sense of yourself, to relate to it so that you could feel real, like someone who matters, like someone who's here? And what if you listened long enough that you began to hear and recognize that that sound is the same falseness of reaching, of striving, of trying to be someone? Because even right here, right now in this moment, you could sit here quietly and cross your legs, do this with your fingers and close your eyes and say Om all you want. People spend their entire lives doing these things and never breaking through the concept of it, the surface of it, into the depth of true spirit, true presence, true awareness. The truth that, again, does not scream out for attention. It does not build itself a stage. Because it's so powerful, it's so real, that it goes on, even though billions of people in the world, 99% of the people in the world, truly never recognize the authority of this power, the presence of this infinite God, the universe, source. All of these terms, just new concepts for you to find yourself stuck in. But in this time on the planet, where the spirituality that has the stage is not truth, but is performance-based, new stories to program yourself with. But don't you understand? I know that you do. That if you're in a limiting story, a limiting program, and that story is restricting to you, so you choose a new story that's more freeing, maybe that story is more freeing, but you've just walked out of one jail cell and walked into another. I'm asking you, do you realize the door is open for you to walk out entirely? You do not have to trade one jail cell for another. You don't have to trade one chain for a chain that is a color that you like more. You can be free of all of it. In a world where what has taken the stage is performance and falseness, pretending, it is as if unconsciousness has grabbed a microphone and said, I'm conscious now, everybody believe me, and if you all believe me, then maybe I'll start to believe it myself. But unconsciousness pretending to be consciousness is never truth. It's just very charismatic and convincing lies that keep you from tasting of the food, of the drink, of the true life. That is what every single one of us, whether we realize it or not, is looking for. We look for it in money. We look for it in relationships. We look for it in fame. We look for it in power. We look for it in traveling here versus traveling there, or moving from this or that. We look for it in drugs. We look for it in everything around us. I know that if you are still here, hearing this message, you are here holding the torch of authenticity in a world that has grown all about performance and fake it to make it. And I know this about you because you would not be here listening to this. Understand that most people want to watch content and search for things that reinforce their beliefs to them, and they will avoid and resist anything that challenges their identities because it scares them. They want to consume things that feed the illusion they've bought into. And if anything challenges that illusion, they will war against it or ignore it. That's how I know that some part of you understands what I'm saying. Some part of you does understand. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready to live in a world where the freedom that we already are rises, and the illusions and the falseness which has run rampant in this space for far too long, in my opinion, begins to wither away in the presence of the light of who we actually are, beneath the story, beyond the paradigms, beyond the concepts. The only way for that truth to rise is for it to rise in you fully. That when you yourself say, I will no longer play with falseness, I will no longer play with inauthenticity or performing or pretending or trying to be someone that I think I'm supposed to be. When you drop all of that and you refuse to be anything other than fully authentic and true right now in this moment, You affect reality in the highest vibe way that you could possibly understand. There's nothing more powerful that you could possibly be doing. The trees know it. The trees aren't trying to be anything other than what they are. They're holding a very powerful frequency. So are these rocks. So are these waves. The sand. The plants and the animals. They are what they are. We too can reunite and unify with infinite intelligence. We do not have to live in this space of having had cut ourselves off from it and thirsting and starving for it our entire lives. No matter how much food you eat, you will always become hungry again. No matter how much water you drink, you will always become thirsty again. The kind of truth that I'm talking about, the kind of presence that I'm talking about, the kind of awareness that I'm talking about is the kind that fills these things. The real hunger in you, because the real hunger in you, you know it's not actually about food. The real thirst in you is not actually about water. These are simple biological needs. You have a spiritual thirst, a spiritual hunger. It is the fire that is lit in you. It is the fuel in the train that keeps every day turning, moment after moment. The people spend their entire lives looking and never finding. But there are those who spend most of their lives looking, only to become so exhausted that they surrender from looking. And that's when they see that what they were looking for was right here all along. Thanks. Much love to you. And thank you for holding the torch of authenticity. It means more than you know. You don't have to go out screaming and shouting for attention. I've found that simply being silent and simply being here that's all it really takes. Simple. See you in the next video.